Okay, so we're gonna do a VOD review for the realslim69, playing Widow here. I actually don't know what SR this is at, but I do know it is on PlayStation, so this should be interesting for a couple of reasons. I haven't done a review of someone playing on console before. I don't think I've done a Widow review before. In fact, I'm pretty sure I haven't. Um, so we'll see what it looks like. We'll see what tips I can give if possible. Um, yeah. The, I mean, generally speaking, like
Five,
I'm at least
four, three,
familiar enough with. Oh, we're going McCree. Never mind. Okay, cool.
capture.
A little more comfortable with talking about McCree stuff than Widow stuff, I think.
Feel like a man possessed.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. I might have gone for the right click on that one. Normally on PC you want to go for like that, flashbang headshot combo, but I think on console that might be much more difficult to pull off. So you might want to go for the flashbang right click, or I guess it would be not right click, but you know what I mean. Fan the hammer on that one. All right. So some good shots there, but confirming the kill, um, you know, is important. You might want to consider going in for like for a quick melee, or even I don't know if you want to flashbang to confirm the kill. Like ideally, yeah, you land that third and final shot, but they were pretty low there. You can pretty much force that by just like heading right at them, using that right click, using a melee, or worst case scenario, flashbanging, because I think they were low enough health there that if you like flashbang melee them, like you fire your right click, you miss everything, you can still flashbang and follow it with a punch, and that would have been enough at that point. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The hog gets it. Okay. So I don't want to talk about target prioritization here a little bit. One of the best things you could do probably at this point would be to disable the Rhine so that the hog can get in, right? So look for, that flashbang above the shield. Okay, and which is exactly what you did. The only problem is that you kind of want to do it in such a way that the Roadhog is helping, right? So if you, like against this Reinhardt in particular, if you come around this corner and flashbang the Rhine in front of the Roadhog, that sets the Roadhog up to like land a meaty shot or get a hook combo or something like that. So what you did is mechanically this is good, but it's actually not great from like a like meta gameplay standpoint, because you're pushing alone pretty deep, and even though maybe you've assumed that you've got backup, the Roadhog is actually shooting at a totally different target right now. So this might not go as well. Yeah. And I don't recommend firing like a couple shots and then finishing with a fan the hammer, because then you get like the full delay of fan the hammer without, much benefit. Yeah, so target prioritization, you kind of want to pick a target and stick with it. Like the Rhine is low enough that you should, you know what I mean? Like if you're switching targets, you were shooting at the Rhine, then you were shooting at the Junkrat, then you're shooting at the Lucio, but you haven't confirmed any of these kills. So you're kind of spreading your damage out, which isn't necessarily good. Okay. Yeah, so that's again what I was talking about with emptying the last. So the last couple shots with your fan the hammer, you're better off going for like that single body shot than firing like anything less than 4 shots. If you have anything less than 4 shots in the chamber, I wouldn't go for fan the hammer. All right, that's good. Okay. So yeah, all right, it's not a big deal, but Sim has basically brought this back for her team.
Back into the mix.
Yeah, I'm not actually super clear on how your team lost that fight. Maybe you were just like, you didn't have your healers at that point. They sort of came back with spawns and took it over. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why target prioritization is so important.
Oh, that'll do.
Yeah, so interesting. I wonder if you're duoed with the Mercy, because I'm kind of surprised that she's pocketing you as hard as... Okay, I like that. Impressive. Yeah, so the sim is pretty much clearing your team. You know, the Lucio was, I think, a target of opportunity, but definitely considered thinking about what targets are the most valuable picks. And then in this case, I don't think the Lucio is a super valuable pick. It's actually not really. Like, a lot of the times Lucio will be enabling like a kind of brawl comp, but I don't think that's the case here. Yeah. So this is pretty tricky to push into, you know, like a sim that's set up on point. So this might be like the kind of point at which you want to look for the flank. Even this flank over here. There we go. This flank over here is pretty safe to get to as McCree, and you can play that like off angle, pushing main with your whole team. You know, there are times when you want to be grouped up, and there are times when you want to be split, and knowing the difference is pretty key, right? But like in particular, you're playing against a very defensive comp, right? The sim is basically able to like with the Rhine lock down these chokes pretty hard, and you're also just throwing every ult in the book at you, so you don't stand a super good chance anyway. But yeah, I definitely think the off angle would be the way to play this particular point of the match.
Thank you, my friend. This life's never uneventful.
Yeah, you're about to get caught by the lasers. Okay, I like how you said you're over here and you're like, I need a medic, and then you immediately rush in, right, into like basically the whole enemy team. If you're clearly aware that you're down like 80 health, I would not push at that point. I don't see how this goes. It works. Yeah, I think you would have been better off high nooning from this point over here. And you can kind of play this corner and deny like a lot of space on the map while keeping yourself relatively safe, but did actually get the pick.
I'm staking my claim on the objective.
Okay.
Healing stream engaged.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've taken a little too long to get to this sight line here. You kind of spent a little too much time on point. You know, McCree, you kind of want to set up this sort of like long sight line as soon as possible. Not a big deal, but you could be spamming down their shields like while they're still coming, you know, from here. You know, like you could already be shooting them before they make it to here. Burn down more shields by the time they get into the fight. Yeah, this is a little sloppy. Again, I don't know what elo this is, so. Okay, you got the sim, which is apparently the most dangerous target on the enemy team. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, I would have
I'm on
flashbanged.
fire.
I would have flashbanged a little sooner than that. A little risky. That you almost took that charge. But all in all, I would say that was good. Definitely, I think you got 3 or 4 there in that kind of team fight. Team fight was kind of like long lasting.
Let's get you back out.
Little. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, see, I don't necessarily love playing on the point as McCree, you know. I would definitely recommend playing more corners, you know, like this when you're playing like outside off the point, you know. You're still in a good range of them. And you're not out in the open for these things like the shatters and the mines. And a couple of times in the team fights, I'm noticing that you're sort of ending up, you know, smack dab in the middle of the enemy team. So play a little bit back, play a corner, you know, have some cover you can go to, you know, a pill that you can go to, and you know, you're better off like as McCree, like, you know, dueling a flanker than like trying to take on, you know, like frontline. You can frontline, but you're stronger, I think, being like you know, an air, like you play this corner and you can kind of poke them and keep them honest when they try and take this flank, and then you can move not that far and you're poking them over here. But if you're standing on the point like this, you're basically blind to anyone coming from over here, and they can rush you while you're on point, which is pretty much what just happened, right? So we're just gonna go back and take another look at that. You actually got revived, so you actually kind of got stuffed on the point twice, right?
Now, hold on.
So let's see, where are you here? So you're standing on the point, which I don't love. You know, I think you should either be playing like this back corner over here, you know, kind of playing with this sight line and this sight line, or over here where you're sort of doing the same thing. And if they start rushing you, you know, you can go back this way. Go back. This is a little more dangerous, but to get back to your team, you can go this way. But my point being, playing on the point here, it's a little blind to what's going on. So, like, you're not engaging the team until they're basically, like, you know what I mean? They're, like, coming around the corner. You know, you're already in the line of fire, right? So, but, like, you have the kind of range that you should be engaging them before they engage you. Right? So... Fine. Yeah, so, and then by the time you come back to the point, they've like set up on the point behind you, right? But if you're playing like this corner, you know, keeping them from making this flank, I assume that's where the sim came from, or they teleported in rather. That's a little harder to stop. But anyway, my point being, the positioning here kind of leads you to be like in the middle of basically the whole enemy team, right? They're able to, you know, took a lot of damage from a lot of different sources because you're just sort of in the danger zone there. And you get revived here, and you know, this revive obviously kind of puts you still in the danger zone in the middle of the team, right? But here, let's watch from this angle. Okay, get another pick. Good. But yeah, I think the Mercy should probably be the priority target. You know, I don't know if you even saw her, but she did kind of go like right behind you. Yeah, I think you lost the Mercy, but she's like right behind you. Anyway, that's fine. But the point being, you know, you're smack dab in the middle of the point. You know, if you hadn't rolled out of the way there, you probably would have got caught in this explosion as well. Like, you're in a lot of danger playing on the point.
I'm on fire.
Yeah.
Damage boost engaged.
So yeah, so that fight you did well, even though you're sort of, like you died, but you get, you know, after the revive you basically help clean up. But then you are. See, I feel like you're in a good spot here and you abandon it. You come on the point, and you know, that means you're getting attacked basically from 2 angles at once, right? Like this would have been fine except for the team like split up and you know, anyway. Okay, we're gonna catch the end of this round. I think you don't quite make it back in time or anything. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, actually a pretty close round, all in all. You know, percentage-wise, I think probably, I don't know what, again, I don't know what elo this is, but I think it's probably just, you know, relatively scrappy fight. So you know, it's brawly. You know, you don't definitively win team fights. It's sort of like you lose half your team and they lose, like, you know, most of their team, and then they come back, and it sort of balances like this. Okay, we're on Doomfist now, which is interesting. I wonder, I'm just gonna take a quick peek at their team comp. Yeah, so I guess your priority target, like the problem with Doomfist into this is the amount of CC coming out of Brig and Ana. We'll see how it goes, but you know, obviously, like, Ana's a juicy target, and Brig, if you can pull it off as Doom, that's a little tricky. But you know, like, these are both great targets to hit, but they, you know, they're very good at shutting you down as Doom. So. And Junkrat's damage is obviously like a problem for you, bounce you around. So I'm kind of curious what the thought process was here, picking Doom. I don't really see, like, you know, what's like a specifically, like, a really juicy target for you as Doom, and I don't. Yeah. That was good. I don't know if it was necessary, though. You kind of dumped your whole kit on Ryan. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think you should have played that probably more aggressively. I don't know if turret sweeping is necessarily the best use of your time there. Yeah, I just want to go back a little. All right.
The objective is now active.
So let's see. Like, yeah, I guess you're shooting at the turrets because the turrets are annoying you, but like, this is probably the flank you should be taking, right, onto the, like, relatively low health supports. Like, I know you don't have any cooldowns right now, but you're 2 to 3 seconds off of both cooldowns. You know, I definitely think, you know, while you're doing this, your team is basically hard engaged, you know, like that. You know, I see it's target with like this much health, you know, I think that's a pretty juicy pick for you. Which they, you know, your team is cleaning up, but like you can assist that. You know, you can catch people as they try and run back, you know. Like if you'd come this way and originally, you know, maybe you help your team clean up those kills, maybe you pick up kills that they're going to get away at this point. You know, like maybe you could have been the reason why the break doesn't make it out, right? Like, these decisions matter.
This is not
Yeah, and you don't end up getting the ball anyway, so. Generally, you should be more interested in picking squishies than brawling tanks as Doomfist. You can tank brawl, but you know, it's sort of about like what's the best use of your time. Yeah, I don't know if this like high ground position is super valuable for Doom. Honestly, like it's fine, but the amount of time it takes you to get here is sort of a pain. I think generally you're better off playing from like over here. You know, this is pretty easy high ground to reach, and it gives you like that little extra, you know, height that you want. But let's see how you use this height. Yeah. So it's kind of wasted at that point, right? Like if you don't land the slam. Yeah. So, and also probably not the best order to use your abilities in. Slam that you missed, obviously you want to land your abilities into a punch. Not great, because obviously then you uppercut and you're kind of, yeah, you end up getting the kill though. That's good.
I'm a man on a mission.
Yeah.
Stay out of my way.
Yeah, obviously I'm sure you know this, but the ideal rotation is sort of like slam, uppercut, then punch, right? rather than inting with the punch and then like using the uppercut and slam to escape, which is how like low level Doom players generally play it. Kind of want to do it the other way around. Okay. Okay, I like that. It's good. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That's a tricky call whether or not to like charge that punch from an extra second or two to. Okay.
Meteor strike.
Yeah. I don't know if ulting there was necessary to escape just the brig. Let's see how aggressively you use it. Pretty aggressively. Okay. Yeah. That's a little rough when you pick the back line, but I think you're gonna lose this team fight anyway. Might have been. You're going for a swap? Okay. Okay, so actually, okay, I'm not sure why you swapped to Tracer, because you're actually doing pretty well as a team at this point, right? Like 95-0 means something's working, right? I would say that, you know, typically you lose the point at, you know, towards the end of, you know, you get to 99 and you lose the point, right? Like that's pretty typical. So, okay, so I feel like you've swapped to Tracer because you're trying to rush back to the point, which is something you would do at like 99-99, you know, when the match is about to end. You want to get there, you want to get back there as quickly as possible. But actually you have tons of time, right? They're at 0%. So why did you pick the Tracer? Like, what are you trying to get? Because with the McCree and the Brig, those are the, you know, you get hit with either one of those CCs, you're kind of done, right? Like, so you know, you want to pick the Zen, I guess, is your main target. You basically can't get too close to the McCree or the Brig. So your main target is Zen and Junkrat as well, I suppose. Okay. This is fine. He's basically just feeding you full charge. Yeah. I don't know about going in on the Brig. I think you'll get her because you've got both supports on your. Yeah. No. This is such a weird place, like, to brawl over in the side room. Your team like comes in to help. Probably because you recalled unnecessarily here, by the way. You know, you didn't actually have to, right? Because the Mercy came in to help you, and then you recalled, so the Mercy basically left. Right here, watch this. Okay, come in. I don't know if this might be like a double blink situation. You don't want to be at this kind of range against the Brig, right? Because that happens. So that might be like if you go in against the Brig in the confined space, you know, double blink to make sure you're not in her range. But you didn't actually need to recall there. Like the Mercy was healing you, the Lucio was healing you. You could have stayed in. You know, I'm gonna hold on to that recall really as long as possible. But I think it's kind of weird because your team gets these guys low. You and your team get these guys low, and then everyone kind of just leaves. Like, no, stay on your target, right? Like, keep pressure up. Maybe you just decide that you can't, like, duel the Brig if, you know, with the ball helping and, you know, getting healed. But yeah, the Brig is a juicy pick here if you go with your soldier. I think that was a pickable character. Okay, so if you see the Zen on high ground like this, we'll see where you go, but I want you to go up here and either kill the Zen or push him off the high ground. Good. Yeah. See, this is a good play, but I think it would be 10 times more valuable if the Brig was dead at this point. You know what I mean? Like if you you know, once you committed to fight the Brig over here, stay fighting the Brig, you know, with like your whole team like dueled the Brig and then kind of like went, I don't want to fight Brig and left, which, you know, understandable. But anyway, point being, fighting the Zen here, if you pick the Zen, having picked the Brig, obviously that leaves them with no healers, which would basically like guarantee a win here. Yeah, and you could have gone for the stick here, and oh, but you get it. Okay, this is good. Nice. Yeah, I feel like you're set up to win this round. Okay, this is good.
Tactical visor activated.
So yeah. So I feel like this round in particular, overall, you played really well. Pick on the Zen, pulse bomb into Grav. Like this is, you know, and the Doom before that, you're basically holding down the point really well. So second round, I would say overall very well played. I still don't necessarily agree with like the hero picks overall. Like I think, you know, it's really fantastic that you're comfortable switching, you know, to these different heroes, but I don't necessarily see why you're switching to certain heroes. I don't, you know, you did well on the Tracer, but like I'm not curious what the decision making was switching to Tracer. It didn't seem to me that would be necessarily like the best choice. And the Doom as well, I'm trying to look on the enemy team to see like what's specifically motivating those choices, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's just like that's what you want to play right now. I'm not sure. Not that they're not like terrible picks. They're not like throw picks or anything. They're, you know, you're doing well on those heroes. But I don't see what's motivating them. Okay. Yeah, I don't love inting on the back of the Rhine. Like Rhine is he's gonna get healed up in like a nanosecond. You know, a much juicier target at that point would have been the BAP, who was like, you know, getting ready to jump through this window. Like if you come in here and shot him while he's still in the window, you know, he doesn't have a whole lot, like a lot of places to go. Because like obviously as Tracer, like once you start fighting. Once you start dueling, you know, people back here, they're gonna turn on you, right? Like, and you might very easily find yourself, you know, 1v2ing in this case, or kind of 1v3ing, really. So like, it's a little hard to get those picks once they know you're there. Yeah. So I like that you didn't recall there. I feel like, you know, probably tempted to recall, but I'm kind of nervous that you're not really looking at this angle behind you, you know, when you're like 27 health. You get, if they come around this corner, you know, they might very easily catch you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you would have been much better off going back here for the Mega rather than pushing into your team like that. To try and get the Mercy to heal you seemed to be the motivation there. Because yeah, if you're gonna flank as Tracer, you want to like, you know, you don't flank and then run to your team for healing, you know, and then go back to flank, right? Like that doesn't really make any sense. If you're gonna flank and annoy their backline, then you can dart over here for this Mega, you know, and you're back on the flank. And you can dart over here for this Mega and you're back on the flank, right? Like it doesn't make sense to move through the enemy team, right, to get your flanks or to get your heals. Oh, juicy targets there. Yeah, man, they're so low. They were so low there. Yeah, I guess BAP healing got them, but yeah, there were some juicy targets in that a second ago. I'm a little concerned that you're not like picking a particular target, you know, that you're just sort of you're shooting at whatever's right in front of you. Which, you know, you're like, oh wow, I'm doing lots of damage, but like, is it good damage? Yeah. Yeah, and again here, if you're playing Tracer, you want to stay on that flank. Like there's plenty of healing. Like 1, 2, 3. There's a good amount of healing. You don't need that much health, right? So I don't know. I think you're coming back to your team when you get low. Yeah, that was fine. But yeah, so you're in this situation, right? And this part of the team is still looking for you over here, right? You don't have perfect game knowledge of like what everyone everywhere is doing, right? But just think, where you should be flanking right now. If you look around, like you've provided distraction over here. You're over here at this point. What do you have? Like all 3 of your blinks left. Man, you should be shooting the Sim, right? Like come up behind the Sim, blink in, spray her down. She's basically frontlining because you've distracted the tanks here. So this could be an amazing play right here. I don't know that the turrets are like... Okay. There you go. Okay, you got it. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely prioritize the Sim, though, first. Over turrets. Yeah. Nice. Nice. A good stick. I was gonna say you should be looking for a stick, but I had a feeling you already were. Okay, cool. So yeah. Pretty heavy duty carry. I don't love hiding here at this point. I feel like you should probably be looking for some more ult charge. The enemy team's basically just like throwing every Q in the book at this point, right? Oh yeah, that's rough. Yeah, so you kind of got hit with everything there. I think they dropped beat. They did a slam, wall. I'm not sure what else, but if you look at their ult charge in the top corner, they got nothing left at this point. So overall, I would consider that a good thing. Okay. They have a pretty wide hero pool. If you're in a single match, you're playing like 5 different heroes. Considered playing the Reaper there as well. I don't know if you're communicating to your Mercy, but like generally you want like a dedicated Mercy pocket if you're gonna play Pharah. And it looks like you got it, so I don't know if you're communicating with your Mercy like, oh, I'm playing Pharah now, I'm gonna need more like pocketing than I did on Tracer, you know what I mean? Ooh, yeah. Definitely can use your conch to get out of the way of that charge, right? Kind of what you had on cooldown. You just try and fly out of the way. But yeah, if you're you don't have your jump jets, then yeah, the conch is a good way to get out of the way. Or up. Yeah, I didn't necessarily like love playing from inside at this point, right? Like I feel like generally as Pharah you want to be, kind of outside, like up on, like getting those annoying top, angles. So like rather than fly directly into the point, you didn't really necessarily get anything of value like as Pharah doing that. But if you were, if you're playing over here, you're basically giving the threat of like booping people off. You're raining rockets down on these guys that are all clustered up. I think that probably would have been better overall. Oh, so your conch was only just off cooldown. Oh, it wasn't even. Okay, I take it all back. I'm sorry. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely want to abuse playing at range.
Reupload systems online.
Yeah, it honestly seemed like the biggest problem you guys had as a team was dealing with the Symmetra, like, being set up on point, like, turtling really hard. Yeah. So that's unfortunate. You didn't get a whole lot of value out of the Pharah, which is fine. But yeah, I'm really surprised that you had like this big tracer. You had some big tracer plays, you know, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go Pharah now. And again, I'm not super sure what motivates the character swaps, you know. Yeah, I think I just missed it. But like, you're obviously getting stuff done on Tracer, right? Which is good. And then you lose the team fight where they dump like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a tire. Did they use all 6 ults in this fight? That's insane. You know, this is the reaction to this fight isn't, you know, oh no, I need to swap. It should be like they've used all their ults, like, you know, I can do whatever I please. Yeah, that's all 6 ults. Crazy. So yeah, maybe because like the position you're at this point in the match, you know, you feel like you only just got the point and then they just came back and wiped the floor with you. But you know, like, so yeah, you immediately swap Reaper and then you swap Pharah, and you kind of don't get the same kind of value on the Pharah that you got with the Tracer. So yeah, I don't love this swap. Especially because like Pharah isn't necessarily like gonna help you push in against the Symmetra that well, you know? Like that's not, there's no like, you know, my diagnosis is your team is losing to the Symmetra. Like when they weren't playing Symmetra on round 2, you kind of crush them. They go back to Symmetra, they turtle up, and you guys have problems. So I would be thinking about how do I shut down Symmetra, right? And I don't think Pharah accomplishes that. Yeah, and I don't love flying in here. I think you would be like 10 times better served by like playing, you know, even playing from this corner, but you know, better yet, like flying up here and, you know, raining rockets on these guys out here out in the open, right? Because the tanks are playing like super passively, I would say, you know, on point. But you know, if you get these picks out here, your team can roll into point a lot more confidently, I think. So yeah, I would say big picture, I love that you're super confident on a bunch of different heroes. That's kind of fantastic, but I don't necessarily see what's motivating the swaps, you know? Maybe your attitude is just like, I'm gonna swap because, you know, like, I know I should swap, and you don't necessarily know like what choices are, you know, are like good or bad, you know what I mean? Like you're you understand the concept of like, you know, this isn't working, I should swap, but I don't know if you're necessarily like thinking about what the enemy team comp is or what your team comp is when you swap, because I don't really see a motivation for a lot of the character changes, right? Like, you know, you're doing fine on McCree, and that worked well, and you did fine on Tracer, and you did fine on Doomfist. Not so good on Pharah, but swap. You know, I don't see like specifically what you're trying to counterplay with those swaps when you made them, right? Like the motivation for it sort of escapes me. Yeah, and I don't love playing inside here. Like obviously the turrets are all over the place playing inside as Pharah.
Clearing the area.
So yeah, you know, I would say if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Like if you're, you know, earlier in this match, I feel like you were actually in a really good spot. You know, when they blow all their ult charge, like you should win the next fight. Although your team didn't really have like a bunch of ults, you know, coming up at this point, which is sort of unfortunate, right? like kind of blew the sound barrier, you know. But yeah, you know, part of what happens when you swap here is you lose this ult economy that you do have. Right, 45% ult charge. You know, it's not. You are actually losing that when you take that swap, and yeah. Yeah, this is interesting because you're not really playing like specific comp here, right? Like you're sort of dive-ish with the Winston Zarya, but there's not really anything to support that dive at this point in the match. You know, you're sort of, I think the DPS are sort of just, you know, playing like, you know, bog standard, you know, like scan. But yeah, Pharah's definitely good on this map, but like if you're gonna run Pharah, on this map, I would run her from the beginning. You know, gives you a lot of advantages as far as like, you know, taking these like bridge fights. Pharah is really good at the, you know, these areas of the map, right? Not so much inside here. So yeah, the late Pharah swap did not love. That's probably the worst swap of the match. I mean your swaps obviously. But yeah, definitely she's good on this map, but I feel like it's generally early game where she shines. So if you're gonna play this specific part of the map, I would say use Pharah early, more so than late. But yeah, overall I think you made some big plays, and I do wonder if that's part of the reason why you picked this match in particular, is because obviously you throughout the match you made like several, you know, solid, you know, like, you know, double, triple kills, and you still end up losing, right? So, you know, it is possible to have a good match and still lose, but yeah, there are some key areas I would look to improve on, specifically like the when and the why of swapping, and generally like positioning. You know, your McCree positioning was a little out in the open, and your Pharah's definitely not playing to her strong points on the map. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, GG's.